Hi, I'm Max Horseman. This is Trident Talks. I'm an associate partner here at Trident, and I'm joined by Adriano Accardo, co-founder and CEO of Egis AI, a control plane for agentic systems. How are you?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. And we're actually fresh off the back of InfoSec today. How have you found InfoSec so far?
Absolutely. I found it very interesting. It's very busy. The energy was great, and I had some really good, interesting conversation with partners and potential clients.
That's great. And any effect from the tube strikes? Never ideal.
No, I got lucky today. I did experience some of it yesterday, but nothing that a founder is not ready to manage. We are challenged every day, so no, it's all positive.
Well, we made it here in time, and that's the main thing.
Absolutely.
For those of you that don't know, Egis AI are a runtime control plane for AI agents, and basically, I just wanted you to introduce your founder story and kind of talk about your background initially.
Yeah, so I've spent 20 years. I'm a tech executive turned entrepreneur. Spent 20 years in technology company. Like I was at the early stage of Google, very early stage of the launch of TikTok, ByteDance in Europe. And I saw three technology waves. The first one is I really experienced how internet changed the world and helped company grow and scale. Then the second one is around the user personalized algorithms for content and social media, and really experience how can you scale a large business very, 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 very quickly. And now I think is the era of AI agents. In both technology waves at Google and at TikTok, what I found is that the people get really excited about this new technology. They adopt it very quickly. Sometimes they use it more than they're supposed to, and that creates a lot of technology and security challenges. And security is most times is an afterthought. So this time I decided, because I actually started to play with AI, I was a very early adopter AI and AI agents, and I saw it breaking my own hands. I decided to build something that was a problem for myself. When AI and AI agents started to come out, I started playing with it. I saw it breaking my own hands, meaning data set got deleted, more information that I wanted those systems. They were accessing more information that I wanted those systems to get access to. And when I looked for a solution, I found that many other companies and CEOs and CTOs and security team had the same problem. And they basically said, giving me an opportunity to say, okay, there's a real problem here to solve. I got really excited and obsessed with this problem, and I decided to jump and solve it.
Well, I think obsession is, very helpful when you're setting out on your own dime to create a company and solve problems. Off camera, we were obviously having a discussion, and you described yourself as, an enterprise guy. Like, how kind of, I guess, important has that been, looking at wider challenges of businesses as opposed to just solely security teams?
One of the biggest challenge for these businesses is how do you put the right team together, right? And you have a new problem. It's a completely new problem. It's new technology. So you have to basically find people that are security experts. They are able, they have the experience. My co-founder and CTO has spent 20 years in AI and ML research, and particularly his research is around fingerprinting with human, and now we're applying the same research to the technology. So you have to build a really strong team of technologies. They really understand this technology. They understand the AI world as well as the security space. But also you need to understand what the customer wants. And sometimes you need to understand what the customer is going to want, but they don't know yet that they want. And that's where I think I have a different view than just another security company, because we're really thinking about, okay, what is the problem that the client has? And at the moment is they want to know how those agents are being deployed with their organization. They want to know, are they doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing? And over time is are they reliable, and can we make them better? And the way I describe this is just like you wouldn't hire a human without giving them an identity. You wouldn't hire a human without giving permission or no permission to certain things, and you wouldn't hire a human without a manager, right, or a coach that helps him get it better over time. And that's exactly what we do, right? We give every agent identity. We have a permission layer, through policy around time. And then because we study every action that the agent is taking, we are able to understand how that agent is going to behave over time. And that basically means that our system is basically a smarter layer for the intelligence era.
Indeed. And I think that you've somewhat answered the question already, but specifically, when did you kind of realize that, the adoption or deployment of AI agents would create security and governance issues?
Well, I've discovered it myself. I started as I said, I started building agents myself and trying to, and I realized that actually I was giving more access than those agents needed to do the things that they needed to do.
Okay.
I also looked around and I saw people within my organization building agents with no technical background, and then when I asked the question is, okay, what agents are we building? Who is using them for what purpose, and are they behaving the way we want them to behave? Not many of those questions could be answered. So I looked for a solution, and I asked other CEOs, I asked other CTOs, I asked security experts, and I found that many other people had the same questions that I had, but very little answer to those. And so I decided to build Egis at the back there.
I love that. That seems wild, everyone building agents without anyone knowing kind of how many agents there are or kind of what they're actually doing, even in an organization. And I'm assuming this was at TikTok.
It was at different organizations. Okay. I spoke today with a client that have 12,000 agents. And then when you ask them, okay, how do you know that you have only 12,000 agents? They cannot surely answer that question.
Wow.
If you ask them what do they do or who built them, they cannot answer that question. And if you ask them, okay, do you have policies and you build policies and they train your team, they're building those agents, but are you sure that those policies are basically being enforced around time, like in production? They cannot answer that question. That's okay. I think most companies are in this space at the moment.
Yeah.
Because we're not here to point out, as exactly what I told them is, we're not here to point out what you're doing wrong. We're here to point out that there is a problem that you probably don't realize yet, but you need to, just as you will look over, you'll be building security systems for your employee, thinking that they were your weakest link. Now your next future weakest link are your agents. They are today and they will be tomorrow as well.
I love that. And again, before the recording, we were talking about the growth in the amount of AI agents there will be. Like, can you give me some of the statistics?
There is 28 million agents today. In 3 years' time, there will be 1.3 billion agents. This is a number that comes from Microsoft, from their research. And obviously they know because they see that many have been built on their own platform. I believe that in 5 years from now, we will have more agents in the workforce than humans. So there will be a new workforce, a new workforce layer, if you will. We will have agents in the finance department. We will have agents in the HR department. We will have agents in the marketing department. And by the way, this is the most exciting time to build any company because right now I'm speaking to you, but we have a bunch of agents that deployed securely with Egis overlooking them. They are doing many different things. They are contacting customers. They are writing content. They are deploying code. So this is an exciting time. And we're going to see a new generation of company that those are I think the company of the future where there will probably be more agents than human in their workforce.
What would you say companies at the moment are getting wrong with AI adoption?
We see different things. We see, there is the two extreme, and then there is the middle layer, right? The two extreme are, you have companies that are incredibly cautious and they love to deploy AI. They know they have to deploy AI to go faster and to future-proof their business, but they're not doing it. They're cautious, and I call it the cost of being cautious. There's $150 billion of profits at risk. Okay, that's wrong, right? You shouldn't be doing that. And then there is companies that are CEOs are going, just deploy AI and just do whatever you can. And that's also wrong, because you have 78% of company are deploying AI without centralized governance. I mean, if you don't know what's working, how can you scale that one? And also, if you don't know what's in your own infrastructure, I can make sure that that's secure. So the two are the extreme cases, and I think neither of the two approaches are good. I think the best approach is to give the employees and the humans the tools to deploy AI, the workforce, the tools to deploy AI, but to have a governance and a centralized governance approach, so that you can answer a question is, what are the use cases that we have automated? Which ones are working? Are they secured at runtime? And which one of those we would want to scale scale the deployment? So if I know that we have a sales assistant or someone that's built a coding agent that's working really well, and there's only one engineer using it, and I have 1,000 engineers, maybe I want to scale that, right? Or if I know that there is something that is basically just costing the company money, but it's a workflow that doesn't really create value, I probably want to make sure that I kill that type of case.
Indeed. And why can't the existing security tools that are out there solve this kind of problem? And I appreciate it's a fast evolving problem, but you've obviously determined a gap in the market. So I'm just keen to understand your kind of
most of the companies that do security, they're no AI natives. This is a complete new technology that is evolving at the speed of light, and so some of the challenges you have in the cloud security space that could be applied in AI. But you really need people that understand the AI as a new technology, but also you need to be able to be agile and to be dynamic in the terms of how you develop things. Also, a lot of companies are stuck in their old ways. I have been talking to. I'm always in. We're here. You are a recruiting firm.
At every event.
Exactly.
We saw each other in DC a couple of weeks ago as well.
Exactly. I'm always in hiring mode, and I've been speaking to a bunch of security research, cloud security companies, and they just can't move fast enough to build for what we're building.
Okay. And let's talk specifically about Egis AI now. So just for the audience, in terms of AI runtime governance, like the term, like what's the actual definition? How does that kind of come together?
So think about, as I said before, you want to answer question is, what are the agents and the autonomous system that are live within my infrastructure? Okay. And you want to have an identity for those. Just like you would have an identity for every human that is within your organization. You want to have a permission layer. So what is that they're allowed to do and not allowed to do? And so we do that through policy runtime enforcement. And most of the company are building policies, but those are staying basically just PDFs and files and training. And some of them are building they're building guardrails in the prompt, but that's not the solution to the problem, right? AI is a probabilistic, is a black box, is a probabilistic. So it's good to have an autonomous system, automated workflow, but you want to make sure that you are looking over the system at runtime, in real time, in production, not pre-production. Also because those systems can be easily hacked. So Egis allows to do runtime policy enforcement, and then he responds to, because we look at every single action the agent is taking, the system is gets smarter over time, and so we can predict what is the next move of the agent. Particularly, we could predict if the agent is going to behave in a way that we don't want it to behave, or if it's going to access data set that we don't want it to access. And so that's why we define it more than just runtime policy enforcement. We call it runtime intelligence layer, because we are the system is getting smarter over time. The other thing I wanted to say is from a business perspective, like what is that Egis does? So we help reduce risk and ensure that you comply with your own policy. We help deploy AI faster so that you can feel secure to deploy AI faster. Looking at the 150 billion of profit at risk, we actually help you make sure that those profits are no longer a risk because you feel comfortable with deploying AI. And then the third thing is we help you reduce cost. You think about how many companies are using incredibly expensive model to run very simple use cases. That's basically, from a business perspective, that's why we're talking about understanding the enterprise buyer. The enterprise buyer wants to deploy AI faster and increase productivity. He wants to reduce risk. He wants to be compliant with his own policy, all the regulations that are coming out. They're coming out very quickly. And then they want to basically do it in a cost-effective manner.
Yeah, and this cost-effective talk keeps coming up now because I think everyone's concerned about the cost implications in the future, right? As they kind of bump pricing and all of that kind of stuff. So I guess an ROI-led sale can be helpful.
Exactly. And, for me, there is also having a visibility of the agents that are within an environment. Most of the agents, a lot of the agents that are built, they shouldn't be built. Because if they're simple use cases and don't create a huge amount of value, why would you do it? Because the cost of those agents might actually outweigh the value that they create.
That's interesting. And in terms of organizations, like I'm assuming what you just said then, I don't know how you would have an inventory for the amount of agents that are out there, but individuals creating agents for simple use cases, then that can seriously rack up costs then, I'm assuming.
It will. And, I think it is the cost of innovation. So some company, you will have to basically go through some of that cost, but if you don't have visibility over that, you will never be able to optimize. So my recommendation to companies, deploy AI, let everybody within your organization, experiment, but have centralized governance. Have a view on what's been built and how was built doing exactly what it needed to do.
Yeah. And what's the initial feedback? So you have MVP, right?
Yep.
What's the initial feedback that you've got from like customers, and has there been anything that's surprising to you?
Well, we have a working product, and the things that we have done is comes from the experience of working at a company like Google and the others that I've mentioned. What we wanted to do is make it easy for clients to deploy. So it doesn't have to be, security doesn't have to be a blocker. So you have to be able to deploy Egis in 6 steps max.
Okay.
So it's very easy to deploy. It's very easy to navigate, even for not a technical person. And then the other thing that we wanted to do is we want clients to see value within seconds. So the moment you deploy our SDK within your cloud infrastructure or whatever you have built your agents, within minutes you start seeing the system being populated and a policy being enforced at runtime. And then over time the system learns and suggests new things that you should be doing. So that's what we wanted to do, is easy to deploy, easy to manage, and then value within minutes. So the feedback that really brings it home is, we can see value within minutes within what you built.
Yeah, that's powerful. The fact that you can prove value that quickly is, hopefully testament to what you've built. And obviously, we've spoken about the growth in just the sheer volume of AI agents being deployed over the next 3 years and beyond. How do you think that AI agents, aside from just the sheer volume, will evolve over the course of the next few years? Is there any other ways that you think maybe the use will evolve, or anything that you think, again, will shape the need for governance and security even further?
The technology will continue to evolve. You think about the way I think about AI agents out there evolving is I think about students, right? I mean, when it first started, there were basically students at elementary schools. Then they became students higher grade schools, and now there are college students. There'll be PhD, and they'll get better and better and better over time. That is only continue to happen. So technology will continue to evolve, and there is, every time I go, I spend a lot of time in Silicon Valley. There is a race to the top. Who builds the better and faster machine? And that race, you have some of the best people. It's incredible what they're thinking of doing, but that creates its own challenge, right? So the more the technology gets better, the more security risk, the more governance risk going to have, the more challenges for enterprises, cost, productivity, what's working, what's not working, what's the right thing to do, easy accessing the right data. Do we give him more access so he could do better things? And if we do that, how do we make sure that we can secure it, right? Now everyone is talking about meters, right? Today, InfoSec, I'm a client works for a very important bank here in England, and I won't say the name, but they basically say we have deployed meters, but we are scared of what it could do. Can you help us make sure that wherever we've deployed in critical infrastructure is actually secure? So I think you will have the technology will continue to improve, the security risk will continue to rise. But we'll be there to make sure that we continue to evolve to secure AI and to help company accelerate the adoption.
Yeah, but surely your part in that, once there is governance and security, that will only accelerate the adoption even further, right? Because one of the things that's stopping enterprises adopting fully is that risk. Like you said, there's a lot of enterprises out there that are just hanging back and potentially, hampering profits because of them not actually deploying quickly enough.
Yeah, and that's our whole mission, right? Our mission is to help deploy AI faster, more safely, ultimately better.
And do you think there are any specific risks that enterprises are underestimating today?
They underestimated the risk of not deploying it.
Okay.
They underestimated the risk of deploying it too fast. I think those are the two things that I think they're underestimating. Or they think they can secure what they're deploying with what they have. The answer is not. Or they're thinking, if we deploy on-prem, we have solved the problem. You haven't, because this is a probabilistic system. There is multiple reasons of why that is not going to solve the problem.
And based on the conversation we're having today, I feel like this is a bit of a loaded question now. But do you think
I was waiting for it?
Yeah. But do you think every enterprise will require an AI governance layer?
I think most company will need enterprise, particularly. Yes, and I think the new generation of enterprise, they will build enterprise governance, security, and enhancement at inception, at the very start. Those will be the most successful one.
Indeed. And is there anything else you want to kind of draw attention to? Like, I'm keen to understand what you're most excited about in kind of the coming months.
In the coming months, we have, as I said, we have a working product. We have multiple customers using the product and seeing the value. I'm incredibly excited. We have a pipeline of customers. I want to see more larger customers adopting our. The more agents we can help secure and deploy, the better. And so I'm excited about the next multi-million-dollar customers that we will hopefully sign very soon.
Well, best of luck with that. And of course, look, you've come from a big company background, incredible companies, really. But nonetheless, I'd be crazy not to ask, like, what's been the hardest thing about transitioning from that environment to a founder, aside from spending so much time away from your family, which, I know you're between Italy and San Fran, but I think that's the obvious answer, but I'll let you speak.
When you have a big brand, or towards when you have a big brand behind you, you have a queue of people that want to work with you, that want to help you. But what you'll be surprised, what I was happily surprised in my entrepreneurial journey, is the people that you less expect that will go out of the way to help you. They will be there for you, and that's really, really, really exciting. And also, I am blessed to have met people like yourself that want to create a platform for a company like ours to make sure that there is a voice for us. But I'm not worried about the other side of the less excited ones to help, because I believe that when I joined Google, people ask me, why are you joining a white page with a bunch of colors, like with 5 letters? When I joined TikTok, most people will basically say, you're crazy to leave Google, right, to go to TikTok. And I think it's going to be the same this time again.
Wow. Well, I really appreciate your time today. And certainly, if anyone wants to get in touch with Adriano and discuss more about Egis AI, I'll put a link under the content today, but I'll be happy to redirect anyone that wants to connect.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.